I put the greatest drivers from every F1 team's history back in that team and simulated an entire season with equal cars. Which team has had the greatest drivers of all time? Stay tuned to find out. My name is Chris, welcome back to CFRacing and enjoy the video. Today's video is sponsored by my friends at Hybe. Hybe is a mystery box company that creates boxes for all, whether it be sneaker lovers, watch wearers, brand name bag carriers, gamers, and many more. Hybe has you covered. Right now, Hybe is doing an $100,000 giveaway, and all you have to do is sign up, verify your email, and claim the reward. They also have a box battle feature where you can open boxes with other Hybe members and compete to see who gets the better drops. The great thing about Hybe is that you are guaranteed to get an item of the same value as you paid for, with the opportunity to get something far more valuable. Just this week, a user of Hybe bought the $95 Triple Trouble shoebox and got shoes that are worth 9 times that amount. So basically, they won shoes that are about $880 and they only spent $95. For those who don't understand, that is basically the equivalent of Nicholas Latifi making a Q3. Yes, it is very rare, but it is possible, which is really awesome. All products are verified through third parties like StockX, and if you get something that you don't like, you can exchange it instantly. Check out my link below and in the description and use my code CFRacing upon registration, and you guys will receive 3 free boxes plus a 5% top-up bonus. Seriously guys, there's literally no reason not to do this. All this stuff is free for you. Once again, I want to give a huge shout out to my friends at Hybe for sponsoring today's video. Hey everybody, what's going on? Chris here, otherwise known as CFRacing, and we have today one of probably the most fun videos that I've ever made in my entire channel's existence. And today guys, like I said in the intro, I put 2 of the greatest drivers from every single Formula 1 team back in that Formula 1 team where they were great and simulated an entire season in Grand Prix mode. I did my best to recreate the entire 2023 Formula 1 schedule. Obviously, I don't have tracks like Qatar and Las Vegas, so for Qatar, I just used Bahrain again because it was very similar back in 2020. And then for Las Vegas, I think I just put Portimao just because it's another new track, and we do have China in the game, so I put China in for Grand Prix mode. Also, before this video starts, I want to say I cannot use the same driver in multiple teams. So just say you guys know how Alain Prost, he drove for Ferrari, he drove for Williams, he drove for McLaren. I only put him on one team, and then I'll just say there was another driver who's pretty good for McLaren, like Mika Hakkinen. I'll put him beside Senna, and I'll put Prost in like Williams, or I'll put Prost in Ferrari or something like that. And just like the most recent video, it would not be possible without the use of the cheat tool application. Go check it out, links in the description. It literally allows me to transfer any driver I want into any team. It's amazing. Like, I've never seen a mod this good, and even keeps the driver stats, which is amazing, and I'm very, very thankful that they made this mod. If you guys are new here and enjoy the content like this from me, then go ahead, hit that like button, subscribe, comment, share with your friends, join the Discord, links in the description. We're trying to get 1,000 members on there. And with that being said, guys, let's take a look at the 20 drivers for the 10 teams. Alright guys, let's take a look at the 10 teams and driving for Red Bull. This is a very spicy driver lineup. We have 2010 to 2013 Formula 1 world champion Sebastian Vettel, partnered alongside his 2-time reigning world champion Max Verstappen. Moving on to Ferrari, the lead driver is arguably the GOAT of Formula 1. No introduction is really needed, as we have Michael Schumacher and his teammate, 2007 Formula 1 World Drivers Champion, the legend, the Iceman, Kimi Räikkönen. Mercedes, this is a fun one to do, and obviously I have to put Lewis Hamilton. He won 6 of his 7 World Drivers Championships with them, and for some reason, Nico Rosberg is not in the coding of this game, or else I would have put Nico Rosberg, I'm going to be honest. But there was another driver who did win a World Drivers Championship for that quotation mark Mercedes team going back to 2009. It was named Braun GP, and who won the championship for them? It was Jenson Button. McLaren has had some incredible drivers in their past, and I did put Ayrton Senna as the lead driver for McLaren. And you guys are probably thinking, oh my gosh, he didn't put Lewis Hamilton? No, I didn't, because he's with Mercedes. The second driver, I am going to be putting Mika Hakkinen, as he was just recently added to the Formula 1 game, and I want to see how him and Senna actually compare with each other. And I put Prost in a different team. You'll see it a little bit later. So McLaren, we have Senna and Mika Hakkinen. Going to Alpine, they really only have like one standout driver that's in the game's coding pretty much in the past, and that driver is obviously Fernando Alonso, as he drove for them when they were Renault, and then also back when they were Renault. But more recently, I decided just to throw in Daniel Ricciardo there because there was really nobody else who I really could choose, so I decided to put Alonso and Daniel Ricciardo, though I could have put Esteban Ocon because technically he did win a race for that team and Ricciardo didn't. But I'm like, you know what, screw it, let's put Ricciardo. Aston Martin is a very fun one, as they don't really have any incredibly standout drivers besides Sebastian Vettel and Fernando Alonso right now, but I put those two in different teams already. So we're going to go with the driver lineup they had for like 3 seasons in a row of Nico Hülkenberg and Sergio Perez. Alfa Romeo is another fun one, as they had a lot of really good drivers, but when they were rookies. So today I decided to go with F1 legend Felipe Massa, as he started with that Sauber outfit. And then, you know, a little bit of bias here. I mean, he's a great driver, of course. I'm going to be putting Charles Leclerc as the second driver for Alfa Romeo. You could have gone with Bottas, you could have gone with Kimi Räikkönen, but I put Kimi Räikkönen in Ferrari and not Leclerc in Ferrari. So we have Alfa Romeo is Felipe Massa and Charles Leclerc. Williams, do not be surprised if this Williams team performs very, very well, as their drivers are really, really good. We have Alain Prost, who won a World Drivers' Championship for Williams, and then we also have another Formula 1 World Champion, Jacques Villeneuve, driving for them as well. Once again, don't be surprised if these guys perform very well. Haas has had a very short history in Formula 1, and it's pretty obvious who the 2 greatest Haas drivers of all time are. So let's just not even, let's just get right to it. It's Roman Grosjean and Kevin Magnussen. And the final team in today's video is AlphaTauri, or you could go back in time and do Toro Rosso. Obviously, I could put drivers like Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen, but they're already in Red Bull. So I'm going to go with Carlos Sainz and then their most recent race winner, Pierre Gasly. Alright guys, now it is time to go to race 1 in Bahrain. Race 1 in Bahrain was won by Max Verstappen, with the podium being Ayrton Senna and Charles Leclerc. We got some modern drivers on this list, followed up by Lewis Hamilton, Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve, Fernando Alonso, Alain Prost, Mika Hakkinen, Kimi Räikkönen, and the fastest lap point goes to Max Verstappen. And I'm sure you guys saw this on my community tab, but pole position did go to Charles Leclerc. You guys can keep track of who is the best pole sitter qualifier in F1 history in this video in the comment section. Race 2 in Saudi Arabia was also won by Max Verstappen. Very surprising start of the year. Did not think Max would perform this well. Followed by Charles Leclerc in P2 and Ayrton Senna in P3. Followed by Alain Prost, Jacques Villeneuve, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Kimi Räikkönen, Felipe Massa, Nico Hülkenberg, and the fastest lap point and pole position both go to Jacques Villeneuve. Race 3 in Australia was once won again by Max Verstappen. What a great start to the year he's had, followed by Senna and Charles Leclerc. Alain Prost finishes 4th, followed by Michael Schumacher, Lewis Hamilton, Mika Hakkinen, Carlos Sainz, Sebastian Vettel, Jenson Button. Max Verstappen gets the point for fastest lap, and Alain Prost gets the point for pole position. Race 4 in China was won by Michael Schumacher, followed by Mika Hakkinen and Fernando Alonso rounding out the podium. What a great podium that is, by the way. Alain Prost finishes in 4th, followed by Jacques Villeneuve, Jenson Button, Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel, Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez. Nobody got the point for fastest lap, as the fastest lap was claimed from somebody who wasn't in the top 10, and Michael Schumacher got the pole. Race 5 in Baku was won by Ayrton Senna, followed by Charles Leclerc and Mika Hakkinen rounding out the podium. From 4th to 10th, we have Alain Prost, Kimi Raikkonen, Pierre Gasly, great race for him, Carlos Sainz, also great race for him, Sergio Perez, Sebastian Vettel, Nico Hülkenberg, Charles Leclerc gets the point for the fastest lap, and Max Verstappen had pole position. Race 6 in Miami was won by Max Verstappen, followed by Mika Hakkinen and Ayrton Senna rounding out the podium. From 4th to 10th, we have Alain Prost, Lewis Hamilton, Jacques Villeneuve, Nico Hülkenberg, Pierre Gasly, Carlos Sainz, Daniel Ricciardo, and Max Verstappen gets point for the fastest lap, and the pole position goes to Mika Hakkinen. Race 7 in Imola was won by Max Verstappen, followed by Michael Schumacher in P2 and Jacques Villeneuve in P3. Ayrton Senna finishes P4, followed by Lewis Hamilton, Mika Hakkinen, Alain Prost, Sergio Perez, Kimi Raikkonen, Sebastian Vettel. Max Verstappen gets point for the fastest lap, and the pole position goes to Jacques Villeneuve. Race 8 in Monaco was won by Michael Schumacher, followed by Ayrton Senna and Mika Hakkinen in P3. From 4 to 10, we have Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Alain Prost, Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button, Jacques Villeneuve, and the fastest lap and pole position point goes to Michael Schumacher. Race 9 in Spain was also won by Michael Schumacher, followed by Max Verstappen in P2 and Ayrton Senna in P3. Lewis Hamilton finishes P4, followed by Alain Prost, Mika Hakkinen, Jenson Button, Fernando Alonso, Felipe Massa, Nico Hülkenberg rounds out your top 10, with Lewis Hamilton getting the point for fastest lap and Max Verstappen getting pole position. Race 10 in Canada was won by Michael Schumacher, followed by Charles Leclerc and Ayrton Senna rounding out the podium, followed by Jacques Villeneuve, Mika Hakkinen, Kimi Raikkonen, Max Verstappen, Kevin Magnussen getting his first points of the year, followed by Carlos Sainz and Jenson Button rounding out the top 10. The fastest lap point goes to Jenson Button, and pole position went to Michael Schumacher. Race 11 in Austria was won by Max Verstappen, followed by Michael Schumacher, Ayrton Senna, Lewis Hamilton, Alain Prost, Fernando Alonso, Jacques Villeneuve, Sergio Perez, Jenson Button, Sebastian Vettel. Max Verstappen gets point for the fastest lap, and pole position goes to Ayrton Senna. Race 12 in Silverstone was won by Max Verstappen, followed by Alain Prost and Mika Hakkinen rounding out your podium, followed by Michael Schumacher, Charles Leclerc, Fernando Alonso, Sergio Perez, Jacques Villeneuve, Jenson Button, Sebastian Vettel. Max Verstappen gets point for the fastest lap, and Mika Hakkinen gets pole position. Race 13 in Hungary was won by Max Verstappen, followed by Michael Schumacher in P2, and rounding out your podium is Ayrton Senna. Charles Leclerc finishes in P4, followed by Alain Prost, Mika Hakkinen, Jacques Villeneuve, Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Sebastian Vettel round out your top 10, with Max Verstappen getting the point for fastest lap and Alain Prost getting pole position. Race 14 in Spa was won by Sebastian Vettel. Wow, this is awesome. I'm so happy. And you guys are going to love this podium, with Fernando Alonso finishing in P2 and Daniel Ricciardo finishing P3, with Kevin Magnussen finishing P4. I can't believe this. I don't know what happened in this race, but wow, that is a very nice top 4. Michael Schumacher finishes P5, followed by Sergio Perez P6, Lewis Hamilton P7, Villeneuve P8, Sainz P9, and Kimi Raikkonen P10. Sebastian Vettel scores points for the fastest lap for a 26-point weekend, and pole position went to Michael Schumacher. Race 15 in the Netherlands was won by home hero Max Verstappen, followed by Michael Schumacher P2 and Mika Hakkinen in P3. Ayrton Senna finishes P4, followed by Alain Prost, Jacques Villeneuve, Lewis Hamilton, Felipe Massa, Fernando Alonso, Carlos Sainz, and Max Verstappen gets point for the fastest lap, with Lewis Hamilton getting pole position. Race 16 in Monza was won by Alain Prost, followed by Max Verstappen in P2 and Michael Schumacher in P3. Jacques Villeneuve finishes P4, followed by Ayrton Senna, Fernando Alonso, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Mika Hakkinen, Felipe Massa. Max Verstappen gets point for the fastest lap, and pole position goes to Michael Schumacher. Race 17 in Singapore was won by Ayrton Senna, and that's his second win of the season, followed by Max Verstappen P2 and Michael Schumacher P3. Charles Leclerc finishes P4, followed by Mika Hakkinen, Sebastian Vettel, Fernando Alonso, Alain Prost, Jenson Button, Nico Hülkenberg, and the point for fastest lap goes to Ayrton Senna, and Charles Leclerc had pole position. Race 18 in Japan was won by Max Verstappen, followed by Alain Prost in P2, Mika Hakkinen P3, Jenson Button P4, followed by Michael Schumacher, Jacques Villeneuve, Felipe Massa, Ayrton Senna, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton. Max Verstappen gets point for the fastest lap, and pole position goes to Michael Schumacher. Race 19 in Qatar goes to Michael Schumacher, followed by Mika Hakkinen and Lewis Hamilton rounding out the podium, followed by Max Verstappen, Ayrton Senna, Jacques Villeneuve, Fernando Alonso, Kimi Raikkonen, Carlos Sainz, Felipe Massa, with Lewis Hamilton getting the point for fastest lap, and Max Verstappen getting pole position. Race 20 in Mexico was won by Max Verstappen, followed by Mika Hakkinen and Charles Leclerc rounding out the podium, followed by Sebastian Vettel, Lewis Hamilton, Jenson Button, Fernando Alonso, Jacques Villeneuve, Sergio Perez, and Michael Schumacher finishing the top 10, with nobody getting the point for the fastest lap, and pole position going to Lewis Hamilton. Race 21 in Brazil was won by Max Verstappen again. He just loves this track. Followed by Alain Prost and Charles Leclerc in P3. Followed by Michael Schumacher, Mika Hakkinen, Ayrton Senna, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Jenson Button, Jacques Villeneuve. Fastest lap point goes to Alain Prost, and pole position goes to Mika Hakkinen. Race 22 in Las Vegas goes to Max Verstappen, followed by Michael Schumacher, Alain Prost, Ayrton Senna, Mika Hakkinen, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Felipe Massa, Jacques Villeneuve, and the fastest lap point goes to Max Verstappen, and the pole position goes to Alain Prost. We are finally here in Abu Dhabi, and the winner is Max Verstappen, again, followed by Michael Schumacher in P2 and Charles Leclerc in P3. Mika Hakkinen finishes P4, followed by Ayrton Senna P5, Lewis Hamilton P6, Fernando Alonso P7, Sebastian Vettel P8, Kimi Raikkonen P9, Alain Prost P10. Fastest lap point goes to Max Verstappen, and the pole position goes to Ayrton Senna. So guys, that is it for the 2023 season. Let me know in the comment section down below, before we check out the final standings, who you guys believe won the World Drivers' Championship and which team won the Constructors' Championship. I'll give you about 5 seconds for that while I just say hit the like button, subscribe, share with your friends, join the Discord. Now guys, let's take a look at the top 10s. This may not have come as a surprise to anybody after watching this entire season, but Max Verstappen is your GOAT, I guess, of Formula 1, as he took 446 points in a season filled with GOATs and equal cars to finish P1. Michael Schumacher finishes P2 with 326 points, followed by Ayrton Senna in P3 with 276. The rest of the top 10 is Mika Hakkinen, Alain Prost, Charles Leclerc. He's ahead of Lewis Hamilton, so it looks like Charles Leclerc is the 6th best driver in F1 history. Lewis Hamilton in P7, Jacques Villeneuve P8, Fernando Alonso P9, and Sebastian Vettel finishes in P10. From 11 to 20, we have Jenson Button in 11th with 47, followed by Kimi Raikkonen, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, Felipe Massa, Daniel Ricciardo, Kevin Magnussen, Pierre Gasly, Nico Hülkenberg, and the only driver to not score points in this simulation was Romain Grosjean. Your driver standings look like this, and this is a lot closer than I actually thought. Red Bull finished first place with 517 points, and only 8 points behind them, we have McLaren with 509. Looks like the combination of Mika Hakkinen and Ayrton Senna was very, very good. Ferrari finished in a P3 with Williams P4, Alfa Romeo P5, or Sauber if you want to call it that. They finish ahead of Mercedes, who finished P6. Alpine/Renault finished P7, AlphaTauri finished P8, Aston Martin finished P9, and you guys know how to say here, Haas is in dead last. So guys, that is going to wrap it up for today's video. If you guys did enjoy and you want to see more simulations using the cheat engine cheat tool, Formula 1 driver swap tool, just like this, then hit that like button, subscribe, share with your friends, join the Discord. And with that being said, everybody, see you guys next time. Goodbye.